Best SEO strategies to rank a brand new website. Today I'm joined with Craig. So if someone's got a brand new website and they're looking to try and rank it high, whether it's in Bing search or within Google search, what's the first recommendations and strategies that you'd be looking to do?
I would need to understand whether they were going to start super local or it was nationwide. But, certainly if you're going for new website, new business and everything, you're going to start super local. So, go and get your citations, your GMB and all that kind of crap set up would be the first thing I would say to anyone, because I think there's phenomenal amount of traffic still to be had from GMBs, relatively easy to manipulate and rank for. So that would be the first thing I would do is, get someone on board who can nail that first and foremost. But obviously there's so many other things you can add to that. So I'll let you.
Yeah. So obviously from there, then I would define the entity. So who are you? I'd create the about page exactly explaining who you are, what you do, the founded date, who's the founder of the company, whether people want to call that EAT signals or whatever. It's just defining who you are and what you do and why you're freaking awesome. And then from that, then you can then use that article and use that about page and be sending that out to different kind of link builders and stuff like that. So once you've defined the entity on your website, obviously you can start doing it on third-party type websites. What would be the start? So we've got the Google business profile.
Yep.
We've defined the entity. What would be the next step then? Would you be then looking to build like blog post pages or do links, or like what would be the next thing with what you'd be trying to do?
Again, you could do either or. Like, I think depending on your area, I would probably go with content first, because you can argue there's no point in building links to content that's not there. So that's why I would do that. But you could argue the flip side of it. But anyway, you want to probably start putting the content out there, because I think for a lot of lesser areas, you can get some easy, quick wins for low competitive terms or low hanging fruit or whatever. I think smashing out the content would be one of the
would you things. How aggressive would you go on the content? Let's say you've worked out a plan and there's 150 pages.
Yeah.
Would you at launch create all 150 pages and launch and go boosh, it's all there? Or would you drip feed it and build up article velocity? Like, how would you go about doing? Would you maybe only do one cluster and maybe only do 30 pages, one specific service and all the supporting documents for that one service? Or how would you do that from a semantic point of view?
I would always do it bit by bit, probably cluster by cluster. I just think going out there and spanking out 150 pages off the bat, one, your website's got no real power, trust, or authority at that point. So I don't think it's going to do much for you at that point. So it would be cluster by cluster and try and do it at a much slower scale. I know you're going to say that, Craig, I've cranked out thousands of pages.
No, I do like the article velocity approach.
I think it's important to drip feed it on.
Yeah.
And just now, I think cranking them out the way that you used to crank them out worked for you at that point. I just think there's so many other factors now at play, like trust signals and all of that kind of stuff. So I would do it cluster by cluster, make it look natural. But also I would be asking the question to the customer as well. If you were to argue that you could crank out 150 pages, because it's not a huge amount of pages, could your business sustain or deal with that amount of stuff? Or what is your most profitable or things like that as well? So again, I've done it for small businesses and fucked them. Be getting too many calls too quick, and they grew too quickly, and the wheels fell off everything, and they end up fucked. So again, you need to kind of understand that as well. But I think doing it cluster by cluster is the right way. But from there,
so on there, then we've built the website, we've defined the entity, we've got the Google business profile, so we've got the NAP and stuff like that. We've now created the content. We might have only created a couple of clusters. And then we're probably going to know, I would then be looking at off-page signals. I would probably still be looking to define the entity on the off-page to start with.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is I would be building out the social fortress.
Yeah.
So everything about GlasgowSEO.tumblr.com. I'd have the Twitter for Glasgow SEO. I'd have the Facebook. I'd have everything, the Reddit, everything being built out to define the brand, and then doing the business listings for the NAP to then go, okay, there's not really much power there. I'm not really chasing the do follows, high DR type of links. I'm just more bothered about NAP being repeated offline, business description being repeated offline, and then obviously like the social fortress of what's going around it. But after that's done, what are you doing for the power? Like, what are you doing to start going, okay, now we're going to start gaining some page rank that's going to start coming through to the site?
Obviously, link building would then come into play because you're wanting that domain to be able to carry some power for some of your more competitive areas and stuff like that. So obviously, you've got your homepage is not powerful; it's a brand new website, but all those like Glasgow terms are needing a bit of power. Maybe the area surrounding Glasgow don't really need too much, and you can use your internal links to do that. So I think I would always start to be building links to the homepage and mix it all up with some of the most important pages in the website, and that would come through. You could argue all day long that your citations are not very powerful. They're doing something else for your GMB and some trust signals and all that kind of stuff, but we're really trying to build some power at that point, and that can be through guest posting, listicles, anything you get your hands on. Chamber of Commerce is even another one. Anything that's cost effective and going to move your DR and kind of trust up people going, oh, he's mentioned here, he's mentioned there. You could do some PR syndication blasts and stuff like that. Again, it's not going to move you from a DR3 to a DR15, but I think all of that kind of stuff combined is what I would be wanting to start to slowly do on it. Like you say with the content, I think link velocity is an important thing as well. I wouldn't just go out and spank. I could argue, go spend 10 grand in links. Would I do it that way? Nah, I wouldn't do it that way. I would just buy, whatever I could afford on a month-to-month basis, because I think link velocity is an important thing as well.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously we spoke about article velocity and being built up, and then on the link velocity, I would certainly within month 1 or month 2 do some sort of press release of explaining we've just launched this new brand or this new office space, again, just repeating the NAP, repeating the entity, repeating who you are. And then, like you said, like the guest posts and stuff like that. But let's say you've moved on, you've done the press release, you've done some guest posts, the guest posts are all indexed. Would you then be doing any sort of tier 2s to the guest posts, or just keep building out more guest posts?
That depends on, the answer is all within what your competition are doing. So do I need to? Do I need to go to that cost of doing tier 2s or whatever it may be? Is everyone else doing it in my space, or am I missing something else? So you can go away and argue I can do tier 2s, or would you go and is it the trust signals that you're going to go away and then get your crunch bases and everything else, because you're trying to tie all of that kind of stuff together as well. So would I spend more money on doing the tier 2s and niche edits or whatever else you're going to throw at it, or would I go down the route of doing maybe even higher profile PR, brand mentions and all that kind of stuff as well? I think.
So would you go down the route of like digital PR campaigns?
Yeah.
So as well as the press release, you've got the guest post, and then you're going down the road of going, okay, I'm going to go and do like a £5,000-6,000 kind of proper digital PR campaign to get these really high end type links that come through.
I think that's where, for me, you'll see the DR jumping and get a significant. Let's say the Sun, for example, that's a monster, and it's going to ding you up a little bit. And again, I think there's a bit of trust in that as well. Brand mentions, all of that kind of stuff combined is where I would be wanting a new website to go, which is why I would probably choose that path. Because although tier 2 and all that kind of stuff comes at a cheaper price, I think you've always got to go heavy on trying to get that DR up to a DR40 or whatever you would do for a 35 to 40 for a kind of local website. So that would always be the aim, and the only way you're going to get that is some of the higher profile stuff, which costs you more money, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then what about, let's say, the article velocity has now been built up. You've built all 150 pages. Link velocity is now built up, but it's still struggling for some of the bigger keywords. At what point are you, like, from an anchor text selection, have you started to now bring in some money anchors as well? As obviously you've got the naked URLs and like citations and stuff like that. I'm presuming on the press release, you don't want to go aggressive with money anchors.
Yeah.
At what point then do you start introducing the money anchors? Or, I mean, it's difficult even on digital PR to use money anchors because normally they're like branded type anchors. At what point do you start bringing in exact match anchors? Or are you not really a massive fan of it?
Oh, I am to a small degree. It's just like the icing on top of the cake. So you obviously want to, do your branded anchors and naked URLs and mix it all up and partial match and all the other kind of stuff. But I think at a certain point, you're fine to throw a few in. It's just you don't want to go the opposite way where 90% of it's all thingy. It's definitely going to be 10% or whatever. So I think that's always the kind of wee bit of icing on top of the cake. So I'm not scared of doing it. I always do it. And I've never really had any problems with it. But the ratio that I do it at is, I would consider to be fairly cautious. So I'd be looking to do that, or I'd be looking at doing some tier 2s to go, is that going to nudge it up, or is it a wee bit of CTR?
I think for me, this is what I was going to move into there, the virality campaigns. And I think for local, it doesn't need like mass virality and you're going viral on Twitter and all the rest of it. But I love what you do, and I learned quite a lot from you when you, back in the day, used to talk about just spending a few pounds on quora ads.
Yeah.
And I'm now obsessed by keeping, like, even Facebook posts, Instagram posts, tweets, LinkedIn statuses, they can all rank for long tail keywords defining who you are and what you do and why you're freaking awesome. So you could be doing those and force indexing them and stuff like that. But like, then you could then just be spending a couple of dollars, a couple of pounds on a status. Like, there's a few people that call it the $1 a day strategy, in do a social media like post and just spend a couple of dollars. And that click seems just to ignite your whole site. Everything just seems to then go, okay, we know we'll attribute all the links that you've had and all the content that you've created. We're now going to crawl it more. And I love the traffic side of things from different platforms.
I think it's cheaper. Again, I don't want to be seen to be bashing any one particular tool or strategy, but everyone's always trying to use some fucking hooky tool to do it. And you're like, the cost of mobile proxies or the cost of this and cost of that is actually a lot more than it would cost you to just do, I don't know, fucking £2 a day Facebook ad or whatever. You're like, fucking hell. So, the cost of it, and you're getting real traffic from a real phone or real device in that area and everything else it's just the right thing to do for me. So, doing that at the cheapest possible price is what you're always wanting, whether it be Reddit, LinkedIn ads. I don't know where your traffic's coming from, but try all of them out. And it doesn't, like you say, for a lot of stuff, you could be talking 5 clicks a day. You need to really push yourself up. You're not talking casino terms where you need to get 200,000 extra hits a month or whatever to move the needle there. Locally, not. I can almost guarantee 90% of your competition are probably don't even know what virality is. So I think just start a little bit and see if that's what moves the needle. Is that going to slot you in there rather than buying more links or tearing stuff up? It might just be that formula of bit of traffic that pushes you up. So I'm a big fan of always just turning things and spending what you need to spend on it to get it to where you need it to be, rather than just piling in going, is it more links, is it not? I think traffic's always been a big part of that mix. And I remember even speaking at Chiang Mai all them years ago, talking about some of the hit leap and all that kind of stuff. People are only now in recent years talking about virality or doing that. People were using all of the kind of crap back in the day. CTR is certainly not a new thing, but people now realise the value of it the same way as I was doing with Hit Leap or all of the kind of stuff that we were talking about.
PandaBot and CrowdSearch.me was the first ones that I ever came across.
Yeah,
that was like 13 years ago, and like people, the CrowdSearch.me, Dan Anton, he was like, shut it down because the main 10 people that was using it was like, we don't want you selling this to the general public. It works too well.
Yeah.
And that's when you know something works really well. And it's been in it for so long on that. So, yeah. But on this, people are talking about the best SEO strategies to rank a brand new website. And they're watching it and they're going, James, Craig, I've done all that, what you've said.
Yeah.
For now, obviously, we've done it in very simplistic terms.
Yeah.
I would be then saying that it's then a case of reverse engineering what others are doing, check and see what links they have, check and see what articles they have that you might not have, looking at the gaps in what they and your competitors do, and just almost be rinse and repeating the strategies of what we just said. I don't think people sometimes try to overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
And I think they're the best SEO strategies to rank a new website. But what would you say, like, is it literally just a case of you're now missing 16 guest posts and maybe another digital PR campaign and 16 articles? Is it literally just a case of, I know the answer to it, but like, I'm asking you, is it literally just a case of just doing that little bit more than what the competition's doing and just keep edging forward, building up the article velocity and link velocity?
Yeah, fine-tuning it. You know, the chances of you, like me and you would fight tooth and nail, doing every little trick in the book to try and get one up on each other. Your competition are doing that with you as well. They're watching you. They might just have done it for 2 years before you, and that might be the thing that you're struggling to overcome. But you've got to then just keep trying and rinse, repeating and fine-tuning, whether it be your link building, whether it be the traffic, whether it be even optimizing your content better, or, you know, looking for the gaps that you don't have. Reverse engineer. The answer is there. What is that guy doing that you're not? And it might be a technical thing. It may be better internal linking structure. It might be something like that where you've fallen down on. And a lot of the times when I get people come to me going, Craig, can you have a look at this website and tell me what you think? And I'm like, it's not done this, it's not done that. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking really basic shit. You should have done that better. No one has ever came to me having done all of that stuff and been, you know, lagging behind. They really haven't.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, whether it be better internal linking, or whatever it might be. So, you just need to keep fine tuning and refining it. And like I said to you before, see, my mentality is, see if you've got 16 guest posts, I'm getting 17, and I'm going to fucking beat your ass one way or another. And if I can't, I'll try from that angle, and I'll buy more niche edits, and I'll power this up, and I'll try that and try that and try that until I get to where I need to be. And you just need to have that same mentality if you want to get to the top. And that is what it is. You've got no God-given right to be number one for anything. People are also going to fight you back on it, and they're going to do more of what is working for them. So you've got to bear that in mind. You can't just go and just take over any niche. The competition are going to be doing more than you as well.
So a question on the brand new websites. They're looking to rank a brand new website. We've told them now the best SEO strategies. But should they be choosing a branded domain, a partial match domain, a PMD? Should they be looking at an EMD? Like, which ones? Or would you then be saying, do you know what? I feel like you probably should be, if you know it's a profitable service, trying to do maybe one of each, like a PMD, an EMD, and a brand.
Yeah, I don't think there's any right or any wrong. You know, I could say build a brand because it's a sellable asset. No one wants to buy Builders Glasgow, for example. It's kind of small, shitty business that, you know, you want to try and build a corporate brand, long term, you know, a nationwide service or whatever. So you don't want to be doing that. But do exact match domain names work? Absolutely. Do exact match domain names get trust from a LLM perspective? Absolutely. So there's so many counter arguments there where I'd be saying, well, if we know exact match domains work and they're trusted by LLMs, why don't you have a brand and an exact match domain name to you're collecting double the data, you're getting double the traffic, double the leads, double, you know, everything else. So again, I would be looking at it going, I'm fucking doing the two of them because I can't pick one over another. If you say to me, Craig, it's got to be one or the other, I'd be going, I mean, that could change. So exact match domains used to work really well back in the day where you literally threw a page of content up. Then Google dialed down the importance of, or the power or the weight or whatever you want to call it, on exact match domains to the point where it really didn't count for shit. And I think that's been dialed back up slightly. I'm not saying it's the be all and end all, but certainly from an LLM perspective and everything else, they seem to trust it more. You know, even with me, I've got a shitty website that's not even finished, craigcampbell.co.uk. That flags up my knowledge panel over my website that I've had for years and years and years. That's a much higher DR because for me, it's an exact match domain name and it's my name. And Google have automatically trusted that as a source of information for me. So I think the proof's in the pudding with that one. So again, if you forced me to say one or the other, I would struggle to pick. I would just say I have to.
Yeah, I would say run both, and I think EMDs work brilliant in Bing. So as it works brilliant in Bing, then it feeds ChatGPT. So my question to you would be, if you had an EMD, is there anything you would do different to when you're starting out this new website? And would it be, I mean, for me, probably the only difference would be potentially slightly would be being even more aggressive on the branded anchors.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Everything else would almost be the same.
Yeah.
Apart from the branded anchors, I'll be going very, very aggressive on that, and then siloing internal linking down to all the internal pages.
I'd also add on top of that, probably just if you were doing any kind of CTR or whatever, the branded search and everything, that would be
dialing that up.
Yeah, as well. So yeah, I'd probably be hammering the fucking shit out of them on a bigger scale. But yeah, pretty much everything else, you need to build out that about us and all of the kind of tie all the entities together and do the social media, social fortress as you call it, and link building and PR and all that shit. So yeah, I'd do the exact same thing, but probably yeah.
So anyone who's watching this, hope you like the best SEO strategies to rank on a brand new website, but also an EMD website. Craig, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers.